to the another season, that is spring season. Spring occurs in between 21st March 21st March to 21st June. What is the speciality of spring season? It is a transition period from winter to summer. It is another transition season. Which one? Spring is a transition season from winter to summer. So it happens on 21st March to 21st June. Where is the position of the sun on 21st March? 21st March, sun is directly over equator, and it started its apparent movement towards the Tropic of Cancer, and it reached vertically over the Tropic of Cancer on June 21st, and that we call as a summer solstice. And spring is a transition period between winter to summer. The southward apparent movement of the sun again begins from 21st June. 21st from March 21st to June 21st. We call it as summer solstice. From June 21st, again it moved. The apparent movement of the sun began from Tropic of Cancer and it reaches to the equator on September 23rd. In September 23rd, we call September 23rd and March 21st is equinoxes. Again, the southward movement started from the equator. On which day? On September 23rd. The apparent movement of the sun began from the equator and it moved towards the Tropic of Capricorn on southward movement. If it is northward movement, we can call Tropic of Cancer. From equator towards the south means the Tropic of Capricorn. The apparent movement of the sun on September 23rd started its movement towards the Tropic of Capricorn and it reaches on the Tropic of Capricorn on 22nd December. Otherwise, the sun rays vertically over the Tropic of Capricorn on December 22nd. These days are known as winter solstice. In northern hemisphere, winter solstice, and in southern hemisphere, at the same time in southern hemisphere, summer solstice. Just opposite of this. On June 21st, March 21st to June 21st, in the southern hemisphere experiences summer solstice, and in September 23rd to December 22, in the northern hemisphere experiences winter solstice. So, on December 22, the apparent movement of the sun is directly or vertically over Tropic of Capricorn, and these days are known as winter solstice. Students, now we can look to the another season, that is autumn. The autumn season experiences September 23rd to December 22. What is the autumn season? Autumn is the transition period. We call the spring as a transition period from winter to summer. Just like that manner, autumn season is the transition period from severity of summer to winter. Means during this period, severity of summer to winter. Severity means തീവ്രത. കഠിനമായ ചൂടിൽ നിന്നും തണുപ്പ് കാലത്തിലേക്ക് വിന്ററിലേക്ക് പോകുന്ന ഒരു ട്രാൻസിഷൻ പീരീഡ് ആണ് ഓട്ടം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So what is autumn? Autumn season experiences between September 23rd to December 22, and it is a transition period from severity of summer to winter. That is the autumn season. And here in this season, the atmospheric temperatures are decreased considerably. As a result, longest night and shortest days experienced in the northern hemisphere on September 23rd to December 22. There is shortening of day and lengthening night during this day. Okay, this is about the autumn season. It is a transition from severity of summer to winter. It experiences September 23rd to December 22. During autumn season, shortest day and longest night experience. Okay. in order to identify the apparent movement of the sun, you should examine, or you can see in your textbook page number 12, a column or table is given there. On the first column it is the various months, and second column the apparent movement of the sun, and third column relates to the different seasons. If you examine and study by heart that points, it is very easy to identify the apparent movement in detail. We can just look to that. The month of March 21st to June 21st. From March 21st to June 21st, the apparent movement from equator towards Tropic of Cancer, and in the northern hemisphere experiences spring season and southern hemisphere experiences autumn season. Identify which year, which month? From March 21st to June 21st. Where is the position of the sun? From March 21st to June 21st, from the equator towards Tropic of Cancer, and June 21st it reaches to the Tropic of Cancer. Then what is the climatic condition of northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere? During this period, northern hemisphere experiences spring and the southern hemisphere autumn season. Next, from where we are now? We are in June 21st. Where is the apparent movement of the sun now in June 21st? On Tropic of Cancer. Again, the northward movement begins from June 21st to September 23rd. From Tropic of Cancer to equator. What is the movement? From June 21st, the apparent movement of the sun is in Tropic of Cancer. Again, it begins its shift from Tropic of Cancer towards the equator, and it reaches on September 23rd. From June 21st to September 23rd, the apparent movement of the sun from Tropic of Cancer to the equator. Then what will be the climatic condition of northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere? During this period, northern hemisphere experiences summer season and southern hemisphere winter season. Student, where is now we in September 23rd, the apparent movement of the sun is in the equator. Again the movement began from September 23rd from equator towards Tropic of Capricorn, and on December 22, the apparent movement of the sun is vertically over Tropic of Capricorn. From September 23rd to December 22, the apparent movement of the sun is between equator to Tropic of Capricorn. And what will be the climatic condition of northern and southern hemisphere during this period? During this period, that is from September 23rd to December 23rd, autumn season is experienced in northern hemisphere and spring season in southern hemisphere. So on December 22, the vertical rays of the sun reaches on the Tropic of Capricorn. Clear? Again the shift began from Tropic of Capricorn towards equator, northward movement. December 22, the apparent movement is on Tropic of Capricorn. Again it moves from Tropic of Capricorn towards the equator. Then what will be the climatic condition? During this period means from December 22 to March 21st, from Tropic of Capricorn to the equator, then northern hemisphere experiences winter season and southern hemisphere experience summer season. Students, you should rewrite that table and study thoroughly, then you can easily understood the apparent movement of the sun. സൂര്യന്റെ വ്യത്യസ്ത ദിനങ്ങളിലുള്ള സഞ്ചാരം, സൂര്യൻ സഞ്ചരിക്കുന്നില്ല, പക്ഷെ ഭൂമിയാണ് ചലിക്കുന്നത്. എങ്കിലും സൂര്യന്റെ മൂവ്മെന്റ് എന്നാണ് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത്. അത് കൃത്യമായി പഠിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ പേജ് നമ്പർ 12 തന്നിരിക്കുന്ന ആ ടേബിള് ബൈ ഹാർട്ട് ആയി പഠിക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഓരോ ഇത് മനസ്സിലാവും, ഓരോ സമയത്തും എവിടെയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഓരോ അപ്പാരന്റ് മൂവ്മെന്റും എവിടെ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങും? ഇക്വേറ്ററിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങി ആദ്യം ഉത്തരായന രേഖയിൽ ട്രോപ്പിക് ഓഫ് ക്യാൻസറിൽ പോകും. പിന്നെ വീണ്ടും ട്രോപ്പിക് ഓഫ് ക്യാൻസറിൽ എവിടെ പോകണം? ട്രോപ്പിക് ഓഫ് ക്യാൻസറിൽ വീണ്ടും തിരിച്ച് ഇക്വേറ്ററിലേക്ക് വരണം. അങ്ങനെ 2 പ്രാവശ്യം ഇക്വേറ്ററിൽ എത്തുന്ന ടൈമാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇക്വിനോക്സസ് എന്ന് വിളിച്ചത്. മാർച്ച് 21നും സെപ്റ്റംബർ 23നും ഇക്വിനോക്സ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്നു. വീണ്ടും അവിടെ നിന്ന് തിരിഞ്ഞു ഈ സെപ്റ്റംബർ 23 വീണ്ടും ഇക്വേറ്ററിൽ നിന്നും ട്രോപ്പിക് ഓഫ് കാപ്രിക്കോണിലേക്ക് വരണം. അപ്പൊ അതിനിടയിൽ ഒരു സീസൺ ഉണ്ടാകുന്നു. വീണ്ടും ട്രോപ്പിക് ഓഫ് കാപ്രിക്കോണിൽ നിന്ന് വീണ്ടും തിരിച്ചെവിടത്തേക്ക് പോകണം? ഇക്വേറ്ററിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ ഈ പോകുന്ന ഇതിനെയാണ് അപ്പാരന്റ് മൂവ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. ഇത് കൃത്യമായി പഠിക്കാൻ നിങ്ങൾ ആ പേജ് നമ്പർ 12 പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന ഹോംവർക്ക് കൃത്യമായി റീറൈറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ചെയ്യും. Children, now we can explain about the last season mentioned in this chapter, that is the winter season. It is between December 22nd to March 21st. In this season, the northward apparent movement or the northward shift of the sun began in December 22 towards shift begins 22 December and again it reaches on the equator on March 21st. In between these, in the northern hemisphere experiences the winter season. The winter experience, this period marked considerably the temperature is very lesser and the entire northern hemisphere experiences winter season. Once again, the winter season in between December 22 to March 21st. The northward movement started in December 22 from Tropic of Capricorn towards equator and the apparent movement reaches vertically over the equator on March 21st. In between these days, in northern hemisphere experiences winter season. That's all.